Let's refresh. I believe we are live.
Awesome.
Maybe not.
So.
It says starting soon. So let me make sure that we're live because this isn't good.
Oh, there we are. We're live.
Do you see it?
Yep, I see it.
I believe we are live. There we go.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, folks, this is Lynn Brown. I'm Lynn Brown, and down there is Tamyka. And we're here today to share some really, we think is really exciting information about getting traffic. And you know what's funny is Tamyka and I planned this hangout, like a couple of weeks ago, right, Tamyka? And we did not know, I promise, we did not know that the #1 traffic kingpin, as we call him, for Empower Network, who is like the #1 leader and earner in Empower Network, Vic Streishaus, came on our Empower Hour last night and blew us all away as far as, you know, his knowledge and that kind of thing when it comes to traffic. So we know how important traffic is to everybody and their business. And Tamyka and I, you know, we came up with these top 10. We're going to count them down for you. And we came up with these top 10 that we believe will give you enough information tonight. Now, we can't go into, you know, full detail on all of them, but we'll give you enough tips and strategies that you can take away tonight and start applying them in your own marketing and using, you know, these strategies for getting more traffic to your blog site, to your videos, capture pages, sales pages, and all that kind of thing. So, I don't know, what would you like to say there, Tamyka?
I mean, you pretty much covered it. We all know that, you know, when we're starting a business online and, you know, we're trying to get things going and, you know, get those sales coming in, the biggest thing that we need is traffic. And there's so many different avenues to go about it, you know, when we're first getting started. And it's kind of tricky trying to figure out the ones that'll work and the ones that don't work so good. So, you know, this is definitely a hot topic tonight, and I'm excited to be able to share it with you and be able to talk with you, Lynn, on it and some of the different areas that you're really good at and some of the things that I have found success in. So I'm really excited about that tonight.
Yeah, and you know, that brings up an interesting point as well, is that, you know, there are so many ways that you can get traffic. So it depends on you as an individual, what you feel more comfortable with. And so when we're going through these, don't think that you have to do every single one of these top 10 that we're going to be sharing with you. What we learn inside of the, you know, the education process that we go through in Empower Network is that you choose one or two and you become a master of that. Once you do that, then you can move on to another, you know, marketing strategy. But you want to make sure that you understand the marketing strategy that you're using to get traffic, that it's working for you, and you understand it enough that you can move on and maybe outsource it to somebody else that could, you know, can do the functions of that traffic getting strategy. All right, so I guess we'll just move on to our presentation. Do we want to? Do we have to share things about each other? I can tell you this, folks. Tamyka, when she joined with me and partnered up with me last year, right, Tamyka?
Yeah, I think it was September. Yeah.
Okay, last year, she floored me because, you know, I do my little welcome calls. You know, when you join, I like to welcome you aboard and, you know, talk to you about your plans and your goals and all that kind of thing. And I asked her how she was doing. She was, oh, fine. And I said, oh, that doesn't sound real peppy there. And she goes, well, you know, I just had my my baby. I'm like, oh my gosh. She just had a baby like 2 days or 3 days?
Yeah, about 3 days.
Yeah. And then 2 weeks later, folks, she had her first sales, multiple sales. So I've got to tell you something that, you know, I like, you know, well, I believe that I attract, and I also like to partner with people that have that can-do attitude And Tamyka proves it best. I'm telling you, she is dynamite. It just blew me away. So I was really impressed with that, Tamyka.
Thank you.
All right. So what we did, we put together a PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to let me see if I can share this screen. And we did practice this, so hopefully this will work. And Tamyka, if you can tell me.
Okay.
Maybe I got to double click. There we go.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So here we are, the countdown hot tips getting more traffic. So we're going to go through these top 10, and again, just remember these are going to be strategies that you can implement, today, tomorrow, and in the future, or maybe we're going to give you some more tips or ideas on strategies that you're already using for getting traffic. So before we do that, this was an interesting stat. Last night, like I said, Vic Streishaus was talking about traffic. He has a huge list, folks. I mean, I don't even know how many, probably hundreds of thousands of people on his list. And so he did a survey. And if you notice here, this is what's really interesting. It says here, what is your single biggest challenge you need help on right now? This, you could select building websites, finding great products, list building, converting leads, and look what took first place, traffic generation. I mean, by a huge margin here. 43% of the people want to know how to get good quality traffic, to their business and to their affiliate products and so forth. So I thought this was pretty interesting to share on how important traffic is to your business. I mean, because look at it this way. If you had opened a store today and you're sitting behind the counter, behind your register, and you see the front door, but you don't see anybody walking by or driving by or anything like that, well, then how is anybody going to know that you even have a store or any products to sell, right? So visualize that you have to have traffic before you even, before you really can say you have a business. Because if nobody knows you're there, you're dead in the water. So our number 10, I should say, we're counting down from number 10 is free classified ads. Now, this was a strategy, a technique that I used, probably about 2 years ago, and I still will implement it every now and then because free classified ads are basically for anybody that's just getting started in the home-based industry or getting started online to market, your products online. It gives you a really good feeling for putting your, advertising, online. So free classified ads, you can go to Google or any search engine and just put in free classified ads. I used US free ads. Okay, you can write that down. It's called usfreeads.com. Now, when you go to that site, there's a premium, you can upgrade to a premium account. That is really cool. It doesn't cost that much, where you can add images, you can add links. There's all different things that you can do with the premium account. But if you're first starting out, free classified ads is a way to go to get you acclimated, to putting advertising out there online. Now, the other part of free classified ads is you have to bombard it. Because what happens is the minute you put in a free classified ad, there's going to be, who knows how many thousands of people right after you putting in their ad. So that bumps you down, okay? But you can get traffic from free classified ads. What I did, let's see, like, I don't know, the beginning of this year, I set my son up. He was home from college, and I said, you know what, Jason, you're on the computer anyway. If you could just do this for me, and I just gave him, the copy and paste of what he had to do with the images and everything. So he would run about, I don't know, 40 ads for me per day, and it was awesome how I was getting traffic from all of that. So you have to understand that free classified ads, while it's free, it's not free as far as your time. You're going to be putting in your time, and you know, your time is valuable, so it's going to cost you your time. So that's what I have for anybody that's, like I say, kind of new to online advertising. Start with free classified ads. Give that a whirl. But it might be something that you incorporate, you know, like I say, if you have a high school student, you know, somebody that's looking for a part-time job or something like that, you can set them up to do this for you. All right? So how about you, Tamyka? Any input on free classified ads? Have you had any experience with them?
I have used free classified ads. I've used actually Craigslist, and it's kind of hard for me. I haven't really found like that main thing that really makes it work, but I've had some successes. It's just really, I guess, playing around with the wording and the things that you're going to put out there. You know, sometimes images work great, sometimes it's just, you know, the content. But you know, getting a lot of leads that way, it can definitely work for you, and you just kind of got to play around with it and see what, you know, is the best angle for you or for whatever it is that you're offering. So it can work, yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's really true, and you know what advertising and marketing is all about is being consistent. So
Hmm.
you know, you can't get onto free classified ads, do it for a day or two, and say, oh, that didn't work.
Right.
You know, incorporate it into your day, like, you know, commit maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes to it every single day for the next 30 days, and then evaluate, you know, what it's done for you or not.
Hmm.
So that's my suggestion. All right, so let's move on to number 9, which is traffic exchanges. Now, this is something that um, at the beginning, I really did not like traffic exchanges. And I'll tell you why. Traffic exchanges can be a lot of work. However, when I say that, it can also be a great resource of leads, because I call it kind of like the upgrade from free classified ads. Traffic exchanges, there's so many of them. But here's the key on this, folks. While there's so many of these traffic exchanges, we're all basically exchanging, right, the same links. We're exchanging, you know, a business link for a business link, you know, a sales pitch for another sales pitch, when you think about it. But there is another way that you can use traffic exchanges to your advantage, and Tamyka, you touched on it a little bit. It's about, you know, the content and how you verbalize and how you are different and unique on the traffic exchange and not like everybody else. So one of our bonuses that we're providing to you tonight, it's right below the video. You'll see a link that says traffic exchange. When you click that link, that will take you to a free training or free, you know, little video where one of our leaders inside of our prosperity team, Mike Hobbs, he will walk you through traffic exchanges and the better way to, you know, to implement this traffic getting, you know, resource. Because if you're just going to go in there, and it's very time consuming, folks. I mean, it can be very, very time consuming. Or you can upgrade. There's all these platforms have upgrades, but traffic exchanges can get a little costly because there's all these different things that you have to have in order to make it more automated. So before you get involved with any of these marketing, you know, techniques for getting traffic, you want to do your research. You want to do your homework first, right? And ask people, you know, get into a group or a forum and ask people, hey, anybody, you know, doing a traffic exchange, can you tell me, you know, what this is all about, and what are you doing that works, and all this kind of thing. And you'll be surprised how many people will be able to help you out by doing that. And Tamyka, have you had any you know, experience with the traffic exchanges?
No, I can't say that I have.
Okay. It is kind of one of those that I was introduced to it only because some of the people that, you know, I'm surrounding myself with, they've done it in the past, and they've been, you know, helping people with getting more leads, so they've offered this as one idea, you know, to add to your marketing strategy. But again, check into this first. Click on that link and watch that video, because you're going to want to, you know, take away what Mike shares with you, and if this will be something that you're going to want to pursue. All right, so now let's move on to number 8, and that's Tamyka.
Yes. This is one of my favorite ways to generate traffic, and it's not so much as far as, you know, getting sales or anything like that, but more of the fact that I'm able to network and connect with others, which in turn drives traffic to your sites. So it's like, you know, when you join Facebook groups or, you know, there's another community, Ning networks, where it's more community based and it's a little bit more of an intimate setting. Networking through these groups can be very, very valuable for you, especially if you're there with the right intentions and you're not there, you know, just spamming your links and things like that. I know a lot of the Facebook groups, you see a lot of that, but, you know, when you're in there, you want to kind of get a feel, you know, for the conversations that are taking place and for the people that are there, and kind of get an idea of what it is that they're really looking for, you know, and see how you can offer your expertise or, you know, your advice in those areas that they're looking for, you know, and start engaging with people and asking questions. And in turn, you may find that, you know, you're talking with maybe 2 or 3 people and you're starting to really, you know, get to know them, but other people are watching the conversations as well. And so people are clicking on your profiles and they're clicking the, you know, the links that you're adding with information, and they're going to your site and they're checking you out. And a lot of business can be done that way, even though you're not really, you know, doing it in a direct way. It's more indirect, but it can definitely have its benefits for you, like I said, when you do it right. So when you're in those groups and you're looking to, you know, build those relationships and of course eventually drive traffic, you just really want to focus on building relationships and connecting with people and just kind of sharing in a, you know, not a salesy way, but just sharing what you do and how you can benefit people or how you can help people. The things that you offer, you know, are helping people as well. So that's definitely a big one. You know, you don't want to be in there one of those people that are just spamming links or putting your promos and your ads all the time, but really focusing on building relationships.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned something about profiles. That is something that everybody should make sure that your profiles are complete and that you have working links in your profiles, because that's a great way to backlink. Like LinkedIn, you've got you know, some areas where you can put backlinks. Same with Google Plus. Same with Twitter. You know, make sure, and Facebook, of course, but make sure that your profiles are 100% complete and they have, you know, your links ready for people to click on and things like that when they go check you out. Hey, now Tamyka, can you share with the folks how you go about picking the right group or forum to get involved with?
Yes, that's a good question, and it depends on, you know, your audience and what you're looking for. So, you know, my audience are primarily moms and women entrepreneurs, so I'm not going to join a group that's about cooking, you know, because that's not what I'm really looking for or who I can serve. So I'm going to look for groups where, you know, it's a group of women entrepreneurs, or, you know, maybe it's stay-at-home moms, you know, I can relate to that. So you want to look for groups that are, you know, in your niche or groups that are of interest to you, and you know that you can add value while you're there. You know, and again, it's not all about spamming things, but if you have some insight on a topic that's being shared, or, you know, you have some advice, you know, things like that, that's how you build those relationships there and connect with those kind of people, and that's what it really is about looking for. And also, especially, you know, on Facebook, so many of us are on Facebook, and you see, again, like all those ads and things like that. You don't want to be a part of those groups because everybody's blasting their business, nobody's engaging, and so you're going to waste your time there. So you want to look for groups that are, you know, there's a lot of dialogue going on, there's a lot of engaging, there's inspiration going on, and people are actually communicating and, you know, relating to one another. So those are the kind of groups that you definitely want to, you know, make part of your strategy and be involved in.
Right, and I don't want to dwell on this, but, you know, this is a really important marketing piece, I think, the groups and forums, because we do have the ability to kind of, you know, if you're sharing information, you can slip your link in there, you know, www.livelifejoyfully.com or something like that, and then have that go to a congruent capture page, not something that's going to sell them, you know, here, buy this now kind of deal, but a capture page that might give them a free report or a free video or a free download or something along those lines. So you can discreetly do that, especially like Tamyka says, if you're giving enough value, people are just going to love your stuff anyway, and they're going to check you out. And it's just one way to start not only building, your list, but also, building that connection so you can convert. Because, traffic, the next thing is conversions. You can get all the traffic in the world, and if you can't convert them to sales, once again, you don't have a business. All right, so let's move on to, let's see here. We are on number 7, articles. Now, the reason why I threw in articles is because back in the day, that is how I started my first business, which was inspirational charm jewelry. And I would write articles after article after article, and really got a lot of connections, a lot of traffic coming to my site, people commenting on the information that I was sharing and that kind of thing. So articles is a good way to make those connections and drive traffic to wherever you want, because in an article you have what's called an author box, and in that author area or box or whatever, you can add, in most cases, up to 2 or 3 links. So that's a good way to link people back to maybe your about page, maybe to your Facebook, maybe to, like I say, a capture page for a free report or something along those lines. But it's article directories. People will go to article directories because they're looking for content. So when they do that, that's driving traffic, to your articles. And when they're reading your article, then they see your author information. They're like, oh. And so that's how people will, then click on whatever it is that you're, whatever link that you have that you're sharing there. So articles also, if you're really keen on the keywords in your titles and within, the article itself, then the search engines love them. So you're going to get, that optimization as well. And you can be very consistent with articles. You can hire out people to write your articles for you. There's good SEO copy people. Again, you're going to, pay for that. So if you're just starting out, then you'll want to write your own articles, and it's a good exercise anyway for you to do. But here's the key: you can go to these article directories and get examples. Like if you wanted to write about a certain topic, search those articles and see what other people are writing, and then of course use your own unique titles and content. But if you get stuck or anything like that, you can definitely get ideas from other people and what they're writing. So it's just another way, another form of getting that optimization, to get that visibility, and people coming to you, and then that information in your author area that will drive them to wherever your links are linking. So articles are a good way, especially, like I say, just starting out. I've kind of went by the wayside on articles only because I've been focusing on our blog, but articles are definitely a good thing to try out. As a matter of fact, one of the co-founders of Empower Network, that's all he did at the beginning was articles and blog posts. That's all he did to drive traffic, because he was broke. He was dead broke. So it does work, but again, you have to be consistent. You can't just write one article and call it a day. Again, set it up where maybe you write an article every other day or every 3 days or something along those lines, and then you have to look for the article directories to submit those articles to. There's not a lot of, there are a lot of article directories, but there's not a lot of good ones. So again, research those. I know ezinearticles.com or is it ezine.com? I can't remember now.
Yeah, Ezine Articles.
Okay, ezinearticles.com is still a very good site. I know they got hit hard with Google when Google changed their logarithm or whatever it's called, and so they got hit really hard. But they've come back now, and they've things are still good as far as search engine optimization and getting your articles seen, and then driving traffic with the articles to your site and to to other places that you want people to see. So I would still highly recommend articles as part of your marketing regime. How about you, Tamyka? Have you done any articles or anything like that?
Yeah, again, I haven't done mine in a while either, just because I'm blogging now. But I did start up back. Oh goodness, when that was kind of the in thing to do.
What was
I
that?
was. I said when it was the in thing to do, I was doing articles, a few
Oh, okay.
years back.
Yep.
And what I found to be really helpful, and I still sometimes get traffic from those articles. I did use e-sign articles a lot, but making those articles evergreen. So it's like the content that was there is going to be valuable, for years and years to come. And so that was one thing, definitely a strategy. If that's the route you want to take, you want to really consider that, making those articles just something that's going to be valuable over a long period of time.
Oh, that's a good tip. That's a really, really good tip. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on to number 6. We're counting down to number 6. Oh yeah, this is fun. Social media sites. Take it away, Tamyka.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
This is her forte.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm in love with Facebook. It's not a big secret. I kind of live there. But you see so many like new people coming on the scene, and you can tell they're new because they're just like, buy this, buy that. I have this I'm selling this, I'm selling that. But you really want to look at social media as another tool. It's not a platform to sell. If you want to get traffic from Facebook, from Twitter, from Google Plus, you can absolutely do it. However, there's a strategy behind it, just like there is with everything in our business. And it's like you have to look at it. It's a social media platform, so we have to be social. We have to engage with people. We can't just go out there and just tell everybody what it is that we want, we're selling or we want them to do, but really engage with people, get to know people, follow interesting people, conversate with them, utilize that space to really, let people see who you are as an individual, not just a business person, but, let them peek into your life a little bit. Everybody knows I'm a mom of 7, so I post a lot of pictures of my kids, I make jokes about them and different things that's going on. So just to really be engaging and entertaining. I also like to inspire people, so people like that, because it gives them something to think about, and it's kind of good to be able to challenge people's thinking, encourage them to be better and empower them in a way, that attracts people to you. People enjoy that because you're giving them something of value, and value doesn't always have to be in the form of, something business related, but something that they can apply to their life and, and just really feel inspired and changed to do things differently. So that's just really important to be focused on, engaging and interacting with people at that capacity on social media. And of course you can sprinkle in, a promotion here or there. You just don't want to overdo it, and just really considering your audience. You want to be able to always give them value. Use that platform as a way to display your expertise, your knowledge, but really more informal. And you can use that space more so your fan page, but those are becoming a little, I don't know if you've noticed, Lynn, but over past few weeks, I know Facebook is constantly changing and things like that. So our Facebook pages aren't getting as much traffic as they used to get.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of a good way to utilize your profile in that regard. And I know sometimes people are kind of guarded when it comes to that, but there are ways to utilize Facebook where you can actually, just send certain messages to people on certain lists. So if you create a list, say for entrepreneurs, you can send more targeted messages that way to those people, instead of, friends and family who may not be interested in those kinds of things. So it's like you have to play around with it. They have a lot of features that can benefit you in both ways. You don't have to, allow people into your whole life on Facebook. And you just want to make sure that you do have the basics in place. Again, like we talked about earlier, people are going to go and check out your profile. So you want to make sure that you have your website links, your blog links, a way for people to contact you that you feel comfortable with allowing them to contact you. If you want to put your phone number on there, that's fine. But just give them something, a little, make your about section visible so that people who are not connected with you yet can connect with you, because that's what people are looking for. They want to see if they can get to know you and if you're somebody that they actually want to connect with or even follow. So that's, social media it's an amazing way to connect with people, business people, or, if you're looking for customers as well, to really start building that relationship and introducing yourself and your business to people on those platforms.
Yeah, and I'll add into that too, that social media sites, all these platforms, you can also do research and learn about your audience, learn about your business, even your industry. And when you do that, then like Tamyka says, then you have content, you have things to share, with that audience, because now you know what are they talking about, what do they want, what do they need, what are they hoping for, all these kind of things, and now you're going to be more connected. You're going to feel like you're more part of your industry because you're learning more about them. So, like I'm reading Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. And the one thing that he's big social media guy, and I've been following him for years. And the one thing that he's always been consistent with is that we research our audience. And we can do that so easily. Like Twitter is the fastest way that you can learn about your audience. You can go check out, like Tamyka mentioned, some people that are maybe leaders or mentors within your industry, and you go check them out and go see what are they talking about, what are they sharing, what are their followers wanting from them, and that kind of thing. And that will help you to be more effective in marketing and in driving traffic towards you using these platforms, rather than just getting on there and Tamyka says, and just saying, hey, I've got this new product, buy me. So anyway, I just wanted to add that in there too.
And it's definitely a great way to expand, and
yeah.
we can go outside of our local area, worldwide. So it's a great way to really utilize that to expand to different states and countries, and really take advantage of the opportunity to be able to just network with people all over the place.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, some of the people on our team, and we got people all over the world.
Right.
I mean, Thailand, South Africa, Australia. I mean, everywhere that you can think of. And it's a great connector for people, and if you use it right, it'll be a connection for your business in order to drive traffic, get leads, get opt-ins, and then make your sales.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it is social media. I mean, we could go on and on and on about social media. But I do want to say too that I have been reading more about this Edge rank in Facebook, because you mentioned about the last couple of weeks. Apparently, Facebook is going to keep making all these changes. And it'll be on it could be a daily basis, could be a weekly basis. So the key here is just understand the platform. It's their platform, it's not ours. And you're just going to have to kind of go with the flow with whatever whatever changes that they make. So, I mean, it's just one of those things nowadays that's what social media is going into,
Yep, and you said it. It's not our platform, so that's why I tell everybody it's a tool, and you have to see it as a tool. Imagine if Facebook, it could just go away anytime. We don't know. Of course it's going strong, but you just never know. So it's like you have to, really understand what these platforms are for. And this is just a tool for us to be able to use to build our business.
That is so true, and just like you said, they could go away tomorrow. So that's why it's a good idea to have a couple strategies for your marketing, because something could happen and you don't want to be caught short and or freak out because you don't know what to do next, kind of deal. But I don't know, Facebook will probably be around for a while.
I'm sure it will.
All right, so let's move on to number 5, Instagram and other mobile sites.
Yes, Instagram is becoming my new favorite.
Yes.
I'm liking that a lot, and again, it's more of a platform to engage using our images and pictures and things, and people are very visual. So when it comes down to business, I think on Instagram you have to be a little bit more strategic than with Facebook, because you have to really think about what you're going to put there as far as using it for business. And you want to use pictures that are going to really engage people, that's going to capture their attention. You want to think about putting quotes in there, or just little sayings or things that are going to inspire people to really like your stuff. And then of course when they see more pictures of value and things like that you're giving them some worthy content and things like that, they're going to actually click on your link or contact you. And Instagram's a little bit different. It's kind of hard, we can't include clickable links into our comments or things like that. So you have to be a little bit more strategic and kind of give people a little bit more direction. So telling them to email you if they're interested in something, or if you do put a link in there, you have to make sure it's something short and easy for them to be able to just, put it in their browser and go to that link. So things like that what I really like about Instagram is being able to utilize the hashtags, and those are like keywords. So if I'm talking about blogging, I'm going to use blogging as a keyword, or blogger, or blog for business, things like that. And when people, they do those searches in the hashtags, and say if somebody's looking for information on blogging, they can click or type in that hashtag, and one of my images is going to come up. So you really want to think about, again, when you're putting together your strategy for Instagram, you want to think about your audience and who it is you're targeting. If I'm targeting work-at-home moms, I might come up with a picture that has a mom and a child, and I'll put some content in there. So that's kind of inspiring them or encouraging them. And of course, they're going to look that up, and I'm going to use keywords maybe like, WAHM, W-A-H-M, work-at-home mom, or work at home, different things like that, because I know that work-at-home moms are going to click and visit that category. So they're going to see my pictures, they're going to come to my, my little wall there, and they're going to see all the images and things that I'm putting out there. So when it comes down to using Instagram, that's, the keywords are key. They definitely are. So that's something that I'm playing around with now, and I'm noticing an increase in, my likes, and I've got a couple of leads from that, from the training that we're offering on our page here under these videos, the Instagram training. And so putting in some of those strategies that I've learned in there, it's definitely paying off, and it's not even been a full week yet. So I'm excited about the growth of that. But I'm liking Instagram.
On Instagram, is there a limit to the number of characters or words that you can type?
There's not a limit to the number of words, but there's a limit to the hashtags that you can use. You can use 30 hashtags at a time, and I don't recommend everybody use that many, but you really want to just kind of narrow it down to maybe 3 to 5 at the most targeted keywords that'll best fit the image that you have out there and the message that you're trying to put out there.
Cool. And so then the hashtags is because other Instagram people, when they get on there, they'll search for a hashtag, and so that means that if you have that hashtag, your image could possibly come up.
Right.
Okay.
And so it's like and the more that you use a particular keyword, like you could even start one of your own, like start your own trend. So if you have a unique keyword that maybe not a lot of people are using or nobody's using, that could be kind of your marketing brand, on Instagram, and even carry over to Facebook, since Facebook uses hashtags too. So it's just
Twitter.
Something exactly, it's something to think about, and again, just have a strategy in place for how you can best utilize that platform, and again, not taking it way to the left and just constantly advertising and overdoing it, but really engage with people and kind of mix it up a bit, some personal, some business, but just a nice mix.
All right, yeah, and like you mentioned, we do have a link below this video, and this is our second bonus that we're giving to you guys, where you can access this Instagram training, and I mean, it is excellent training for free, where Nicole Mazer and Lisa Torres, they go over on how Nicole got over 2,000 leads and made 32 sales. So this is something you'll want to check out. Go and get that training, because like Tamyka says, Instagram, it's starting to, well, it has been exploding, but it's really starting to explode now, where a lot more people are going on Instagram. Okay, did you want to say anything else, Tamyka?
Nope, that was pretty much it there. But definitely,
Okay.
I encourage people to definitely, add that to your marketing.
Yeah, because I'm getting, I'm getting excited about this Instagram too. I mean, I'm a little bit slower, but I'm getting there. All right, so let's move on. Whoops, we don't want number 7. We want to move on to number, let's see. Whoops, number 4. Yeah, woohoo! Number 4, email unsubscribers. Now, this may surprise people, and I bet some people's eyeballs are kind of going, whoa, what? We all have unsubscribers, on our email list. And that's a good thing, folks. You want unsubscribers. Don't take it personally when people unsubscribe from your list. Instead, you kind of want to say thank you, because you want to you just want the people that are encouraged by you, that are inspired by you, that find value in what you're sharing with them. However, what I found out is every unsubscriber that I get, I send them out an email. And the email pertains to the comments that they make. I have an AWeber account, and most of the time people will leave a comment. And believe it or not, I was telling Tamyka this, I had a couple people that decided to come back onto my list. So the thing is one person said, they responded to go, wow, I didn't know there was a real person, you know, behind this email. There are people out there that think that some emails are just all by, you know, from robots and or automation or whatever, outsourced, you know, whatever. So this is a good, you know, a good resource to pull back this lead, this, you know, traffic that, you know, because you either paid for it or you spent time, you know, getting this lead into your list. So why not see if you can pull it back as part of, you know, putting it back into your list, and or offering them another product. That's another thing that you can do if you have a different product, especially depending on their comments that they made. Then you might be able to offer them a free report or a free, you know, download, like I said, and then they go on to another list, right? And then eventually, you know, who knows, they might buy another product from you, not the one that they initially, you know, got on your list to begin with. So don't discount the unsubscribers. In fact, if you have some, what I do now is I put them all in a file, and you know, every now and then I will send out a blanket email. Now, a lot of these emails, what happens is they turn out to be bogus emails. You know, they'll what do you call it? Cancel their account. So most of them, the unsubscribers will eventually just be, you know, the emails will no longer be good. But you still have that, you know, opportunity to take advantage and leverage, you know, people that were on your list. So to see if there's something else that you can help them with, somewhere else that you can guide them and lead them and help them, you know, in their life. So don't forget about those unsubscribers. What do you think about that, Tamyka?
I mean, again, like I told you before, that was what I never even thought of. So that it's a very good tip. It is a really good tip. I never thought of that. But I know sometimes people do. They get a little upset when people unsubscribe. But like you mentioned, you know, you're not gonna be able to connect with everybody on every level, you know, and sometimes people just outgrow you, you know, and that's a good thing. You know, you want to be able, you want to know that you're bringing people to another level where they don't really necessarily have to follow you anymore. So, you know, cleaning out your list and just keeping those people that really need to be there on your list is a good thing. But yeah, definitely following up with the unsubscribers, it's something I'm going to start doing for sure.
Yeah, and offering them, you know, something else, you know, in your arsenal, because you know, they might be helped by something else that you have.
Right.
You know what I mean? Another type of product or program or something along those lines. So, okay, cool. All right, so that was number 4. Now we're on to number 3, which is solo ads. This is my favorite. And, you know, the one thing that, like I said, in our, you know, the education that we get through Empower, and, I mean, we have some amazing leaders and marketers inside our community. They are just unbelievable. And the amount of information that they openly share with us. Well, we have a product called the 15K formula, and inside of that training, there is a 6-hour training on solo ads. And this training we did at the beginning of 2013. And I remember when the new year came, you know, for 2013. I wanted to pick a strategy that I was going to focus on, and I heard so much about solo ads. I said, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm doing solo ads. And then lo and behold, you know, our company they wanted to update the 15K formula, and then they bring in Shakir, who is a 24-year-old. Now he's making, I think he's close to $500,000 now. By the way, income disclaimer and all that kind of stuff, you guys. When we talk any kind of income, there's no guarantee. You know, we're not offering any guarantee of income or anything like that. So you're going to have to see our income disclaimers and things like that, because we don't know who you are and how hard you're going to work and that sort of thing. So anyway, Shakir, that's all he did for his business. period. Solo ads, that's it. He didn't blog, he didn't do Facebook, he didn't do, anything, any other, PPC ads, any of that, none of it, just solo ads. So for 6 hours, he intrigued me, and I knew everything I thought about solo ads. Here's the thing. You can keep yourself in student mode forever. What you need to do is you take away what you learned. Like if you learn something tonight, then you need to act on it right away. You need to act on it first thing in the morning. And that's what I did on these solo ads. I decided, okay, I'm going for it. I'm just going for it. So my first solo ad that I did, I thought I did the research properly, and it fizzled. I mean, it failed miserably. But, I was only out, I think it was a $60 solo ad that I was doing. And that's another thing. You want to start small, and then you scale up. That's what you want to do in any of your marketing. I know of too many people that come in and they say, oh, I got $7,000. I'm going to just throw it all into whatever. And that's not what you do, because you have to test. You have to always test your capture pages, always test your sales pages, always test verbiage and titles and things like that. Because if you put all your eggs in one basket when it comes to marketing, well, then you're probably going to be very disappointed. So solo ads is the same thing, but once you understand solo ads, they're really not that difficult at all. So number one is, if you're going to go to Fiverr, please don't go to Fiverr. If you're going to go to Fiverr, though, because I know most of you will, do the research. You have to make sure that the solo ad provider is legit. I got to tell you that there's a lot of people out there that are phonies, and all they do is they put up a fake page of testimonials and that kind of thing, and then they take your money and they run. They don't even do a solo ad for you. Now, fortunately, what I learned, on my journey of solo ads is that there's a bunch of groups that you can get involved in, and I'm in 4 groups on Skype, and it's all about solo ads, and we watch out for one another. So they will warn people of certain people that do that kind of thing, that are a provider that just come on board and take people's money. So the real thing that you need to do is go to somebody else that you personally know, that's doing solo ads, and get a personal referral. That's the best thing that you could do. And I was fortunate enough that I was able to do that and start off with one, and then a second one, and then refer to a third one, and so forth. The other thing that you really need to do is you need to keep, record keeping. You have to have good record keeping. So I have a Excel spreadsheet. You have to put the name of the solo ad provider, put how many clicks you ordered, what date are they going to run that ad, how many, they can't promise a return, but a lot of the testimonials, you'll get an idea that maybe it's a 30% or a 40% or 32% return. And what that means is, if you buy a 100-click solo ad, all right, for $50, okay, then you should expect maybe 30 to 35% return, meaning 30 to 35 opt-ins. So what a solo ad does is you are giving the solo ad provider a link to your capture page that he will share with his list. He has, in most cases, thousands, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people on their list. And the solo ads that I'm familiar with are in the home-based industry, make money online. So those are the people that I'm involved with. I don't know on other industries about solo ads, but I just know in this industry they're very effective. But you have to make sure that you know your solo ad provider. I highly recommend that you do research them, and you just, I would take this course, obviously. If I were you, I would get with Tamyka or myself and say, hey, show me this 15K formula, because just the 6-hour training on solo ads is well worth, because there's so much more in that product that teaches you everything about marketing. But Shakir goes through every single little thing and how to analyze this and that and how to test. And once you're done, it really isn't as difficult as maybe how I'm sounding. It really is a lot easier, and the results are just phenomenal. This is what's built my business as well, along with some Facebook ads and some other things that I've decided to do to scale up my business. Because, see, paid marketing, folks, you've got to get to that part, because if you're going to stay in the free zone, I call it, what happens is you're going to drag your business out. And you can do that, but then you cannot expect the big results. You can't, be discouraged, because if you decided the free zone, then that is what, you've got to maintain your consistent action with whatever it is that you choose. The paid advertising, just like in any other business, that is what will scale up your business faster and usually with greater potential. So that's a decision that you need to make. It's a budget that you've got to set up. For instance, for budgeting solo ads, if you can only do, I don't know, $200 a month, right? And then the next month, see how many sales you get from those solo ads. Then the next month, scale it up to 300 or 400. And then the next month, so forth and so on. So it's a great way, if you know how to, number one, keep good record keeping of how your solo ads are, the results that you're getting. And then number two, that you understand not every solo ad is going to have the same 30%, 35%. You could have fizzles. And what I call about a fizzle, I ran a couple of them and I got 1 or 2 opt-ins. That was it. I spent, I don't know, $100, $200, and got, 2 opt-ins. So, I mean, but that happens in any kind of business. And then what it told me was, okay, that capture page was not the one that I'm going to be promoting, or that capture page I'm not promoting with that solo provider. You can, take it elsewhere to another solo provider and maybe run a, 50 click just to test it out, just to see what happens. But that's what I like about solo ads. You have a little bit more control than, going out into, like I say, the free classified ads and that kind of thing. So trust me when I tell you this, if you start researching solo ads today, you're going to find a lot of information on them. And if you do the research, then just go for it. Just jump in and go for it, because then that is how you're going to learn what solo ads are all about and how they're going to help your business. So I hope that was helpful. What do you think, Tamyka?
That was definitely helpful. Now, I just want people should be clear too, also, that when they're paying for solo ads, they're paying for the clicks, right?
Yes. It's not the opt-ins.
Okay. Yeah. So that doesn't. Right. So they're not guaranteed opt-ins, but you're paying for the clicks.
And almost all your good solo ad providers will over-deliver on the clicks. In other words, they'll give you another 10 to 15%. So if you order a 100-click solo ad, they'll give you a report, and good solo ad providers should do this. They'll give you a report to show the clicks that they ran, and I always get 10% to 15%, sometimes even 20% more than what I paid for, because sometimes you get a good rapport with your solo ad provider, and they're like, I'm just going to give you 100 more clicks. I'm like, whoa, thanks, So yeah, it is clicks. So people click on the link that's in their email, right, going to their email list, but it's your link that's going to your capture page. So they click and go to your capture page, but it's up to them to decide if they're going to fill out their name and email to activate that opt-in.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's really a good deal, but like I said, it's something that people just really have to be careful, and I really highly recommend the 15K formula. It's the best solo ad training I've ever seen. I mean, Shakir is unbelievable. And like I said, that's all he did. I think he's doing a little bit more now with Facebook, But that's it. He does solo ads. That's all he does on his business. All right, so let's move on then now to, whoops, I'm doing the wrong one here. We're on to number 2, which is paid advertising. Okay, so what's the difference between paid advertising on Facebook and solo ads? Well, really not too much, right? I mean, when you have paid advertising on Facebook, okay, let's step back. Remember Tamyka mentioned that, hey Lynn, did you notice about 2 weeks ago or, a week ago how, Facebook has made some changes? Well, there's a term out there called page rank. And the reason why, we were talking about the social media sites and things like that and how important they're important to Facebook. And Facebook will give you credit, let's call it that, through this page rank if you are active on Facebook. If you engage, if you like, if you share, and if you post. So if you do all those things, then you are going to get a better edge rank on Facebook. But here's the caveat to that. Facebook decided, or saw an opportunity, we can make some good advertising dollars. So what they decided to do is they cut back on your reach. So in other words, if you see any reports on your, especially your business pages, your reach has probably dropped by at least 50%, if not more, some cases 75%. Now, why is that? Number one, because your page rank might not be so high, but number two, it's because Facebook is saying, hey, if you think this content is that valuable for your audience, you're going to have to pay for it. Now, one nice thing about the paid advertising is you have some choices, and the easy choice is if you look on your personal page, there is, under your post, there is a link that says promote. When you click on that promote, you can pay $6.99 on your credit card, and what Facebook will do is they will put that up on your feed. Let's see, I can't remember what the percentage is, but in other words, more of your followers are going to see that than if you were not to, promote it. Okay, it's just that's the way it is. That's the way Facebook has been doing this. Now you can do what Tamyka says, and you can send messages to certain groups of people in Facebook about a certain post that you did or something along those lines. Now the other thing is, if you're in business, you should have a business page on Facebook, and by having a business page on Facebook, you can advertise on Facebook, and there's a couple ways to do that. Under the post, you're going to see a little box, and it says boost. So you can boost the post. When you click on that, for $5, you can at least get a reach of 1,000 to 2,000 people. And I would not recommend that you boost everything. You want to boost things that you feel are good content or good information to share with your audience. But it gives you that opportunity to do that. Now, of course, they give you higher than $5. You can go 10, 20, 100, 200, I believe. And now Facebook has allowed you in this boosting process to target the audience that you want. So you can say, I want everybody that's fans of my page, or you click the radio button that says, no, I want everybody that's outside of my page and who is, and then you select who is female, male, or all, who lives in Canada, the United States, or all, or whatever you want to do. And then I believe it lets you put in interests. So you can do that all from your fan page, folks. Your business, it's not a fan page called a fan page anymore, but your business page on Facebook. So that's pretty cool, and that gives you this ability to advertise on Facebook for a very low cost. Now you can go into the paid advertising on Facebook, where you create an ad, and that's a whole nother training that we're going to, I believe, Tamyka and I are going to be getting into this in a couple of weeks, or maybe next month or something like that, where we're going to show you step by step how you can do a paid ad on Facebook. and it's not as hard as everyone thinks. And there's a couple of tips that if you just took away these couple of tips, you're going to be a rock star. I mean, I can't believe the results I'm getting on Facebook. There was a point, Tamyka, about, what was it, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, and Neve, I don't know if you know Neve Arthur. She's one of our leaders, okay, in Prosperity Team. She came out with her Facebook training, and we have that in the back of our Prosperity Team. Anyway, her training was amazing, and what it did is it clicked for me, and so I started, following her process. It was the first time in like a year or two that I tried to do Facebook ads that I finally got an approval within 1 hour. I was like floored. I was like, oh my God, this is exciting stuff, just to get an approval from Facebook, because all my other ads were just shot down. Disapproved, disapproved, disapproved. I got to the point where I'm like, screw Facebook. I don't even want to work on Facebook. I mean, there was a point in 2012, I was telling my clients, Facebook, it's okay. And now I'm a huge fan, like you are, Tamyka, with Facebook, because I can see how you can leverage certain areas, and it all depends on the knowledge, and what you know about these platforms and how you can work around them to your benefit. So we'll get. I believe this is one one area that we really need to show the folks, how they can do this, and some of the tips that'll help them to get their ads out.
Definitely.
But anyways, you can tell I'm very excited about that part, just like Tamyka with her social media site. So together,
yes, we're powerhouse.
Yeah, we're on fire. All right, so now, last but not least, certainly, oh my gosh, not least at all, this is the most important as far as Tamyka and I are concerned. And take it away, Tamyka.
Yes, blogging. Oh my goodness, blogging for your business. Love it, love it, love it.
Yes.
That's exactly how I got my start. And a lot of people, they kind of, discredit blogging, or they don't really understand why they need it. But I'm telling you, if you are new and you're just starting a business and you have, like no brand awareness out there, nobody really knows who you are, blogging is something that you really, really, really want to do, because it's a platform that allows you to, really display who you are, get your business out there, and while you're blogging, you're building, this presence for your brand, for your business. And in that process of blogging, when you're really targeting a particular audience, so depending on what it is your business is about, or what kind of services or products you offer, you want to make sure that you are targeting a specific audience. And people, they kind of want to target everyone, which is something that we really shouldn't do. If we're marketing, we really need to be specific in a particular group, so that it really makes your marketing easier for you. Because if you're trying to target everybody, you have different age range, you have different, backgrounds, and it's just too much to try to create messages that can speak to everyone. And when you're being so broad, your messages kind of sound generic and they don't connect with anybody. So it's really important that your blog content is targeted to a particular audience. And you're creating content that's of interest to them. So again, if you're, say if you're a health coach, you want to be talking about things that are going to relate to the people that you are trying to attract to you. And that's what blogging can do for you. It's going to help you be able to attract people to you, so you're not out there having to work so hard trying to convince people, to come check out your static website. If you don't have a blog, you would have a standard website that's really, it's not really engaging people. So that's what your blog is able to do. It's able to build that platform for you. It's able to get, your name out there, get you recognized, really allow people to come in and see, wow, this person's really knowledgeable in this particular topic. I want to stay engaged. I want to stay, in connection with this person. So that's what's really important about having a targeted audience and creating content that's, of high interest to those people. And just really making sure that you're always giving value. You can't, again, it's just like with the social media platforms and all these different you don't want to just be out there talking about your business or talking about yourself or advertising, but giving them value, providing them simple solutions or steps that they could actually use and apply to their life and see results. Because the more that you're giving value to people and they're applying the things that you're showing them or that you're teaching them, they're going to say, wow, this person really knows. I'm ready to work with this person further. And so a lot of people are scared sometimes to you know, I don't want to give away all my secrets or all my tips, but the more that you give to people, the more they see that you're genuinely there trying to help them, and that you are giving information that is really helping them in their life. So in turn, they're going to want to follow you more. They're going to want to tell more people about you. You know, they're going to want to share your content because you are really giving them something that's beneficial. And so that's what blogging can help you do. It's building that platform for you that's allowing you to be an authority in your industry. You know, and it's really important to be consistent with blogging as well. And I tell people, you know, the more that you blog, of course, it's better. But some people, when you're just getting started, or, you know, maybe you have a full-time job and you can't blog every single day, even if you blog 2 times a week or 1 time a week, just be consistent with that until you're able to build up to blogging more. You know, but it's something that you definitely, as an online business person, an online marketer, entrepreneur, in this day and age, if you do not have a blog platform, you might as well shut it down. Seriously. Because you need that in order to be discovered online. You need that in order to build that presence and have your influence be able to help you grow your business. It's that important. It really is.
You know what? I totally agree with you. And there's myths out there that, you know, there's some business to business folks out there that feel like a blog is not necessary for their business. And what I say to them is, I ask them the question, are you in the yellow pages? Do you know that probably, I don't know, over 50% of them say yes? That's when you say you need a business blog. You need to get in the 21st century. Being online is a huge cyberspace, right? It's huge, and it's your big billboard, right? It's your real estate. It's that prime real estate that only you will have, because you know you have your domain, and it's really critical. Now, Tamyka, talk a little bit about, you know, the platform that we use and how, I don't know, how they can. Because I think, oh yeah, we do have a button down there for our business blog.
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally loving the viral blogging system. It's really, I like it a lot because it's so user friendly, and that's what's, I notice a lot of people, they don't want to start blogging just for the simple fact that it's so difficult, or they assume it's difficult to get set up, to get started. You know, they don't know how to do all that technical stuff, and you know, a lot of us started on WordPress, and it is a challenge, and people don't realize there are other options available now. Like what we have is the viral blogging system, and it's essentially set up for you. And what's really amazing with that is that it has that built-in SEO, and that's what's going to help you to get noticed in the search engines. And like you were saying, Lynn, like, you know, in the yellow pages, Google is the yellow pages now. You know, so that's what it is. And if you want to get discovered, nobody's going to the yellow pages, they are going to Google, or they're going to Bing. So you want to be found in there, and that's what the viral blogging system allows you to be able to do, is it helps you to get found easier to your target market. And so that's something that's, you know, amazing. And like I said, it's customized for you already. I mean, it's already set up for you. All you have to do is go in there and customize it. You know, and you can start blogging, so it's like no more delay. You don't have to wait weeks and months for a designer, or, you know, trying to figure out how to make this all happen so you can just get your first post up there. You're able to get started right away, and it makes it so much easier for, you know, new business owners or people who are new to internet marketing and they're just not sure of how to go about doing all this. But it makes it really, really simple for people to get started, you know, start building their audience and attracting leads to their websites, and getting new customers so they're able to increase their sales almost immediately.
Right, and you know, you mentioned about the ease of the platform. The viral blogging system also, you get some tremendous bonuses with that, you know, platform. One of them being Lawrence Tam, the training back there. I think it's an hour and a half long, but he gets you all started on what to do. You know, for any business, and or MLM person or entrepreneur or professional or whoever you are, this viral blogging system, he shows you exactly how to use it. Even, you know, he talks to even real estate people and attorneys and things like that. So that's just one of the bonuses that you get. I think there's 3 other trainings in there that are just amazing in itself. And if you combined all that training, I mean, you'd be paying a lot of money, you know, first of all, searching out the information that they provide you, but also the time that it takes. You know, you have it all in this system. And like Tamyka says, it's so easy. You just get up and you're ready to rock and roll. So
Right.
we have a button down there if you want to, get some more information. It's called Business Blog. And you can click on that button and or get with, Tamyka or I, and we are more than happy to answer questions because we love this blogging system. By the way, it does allow you to have up to 10 custom sites on the one platform, so that's pretty cool too, to be able to manage. Like I have another, I have my business blog, and then I set up a new one for just blogging. It's all about business blogging, how-to tips and things like that. So you can create, like Tamyka was pointing out, you want to focus in on the product or the market or your business. And if you wanted to, you could break it up into 5 different blogs if you wanted to. I don't know who has the time to do that, but some people do. and that customization, I mean, it's very, very cool. But it's your custom domain. That's what's key here. It's not WordPress.com/ Lynn Brown. It's your custom domain that you're able to host on this platform.
Right. Yeah, and it really makes it super easy, again, like you mentioned with the training, to learn how to convert those visitors to actual subscribers.
Yep.
And in turn, you're able to build that relationship through email marketing, and you're able to turn those, subscribers into customers.
And that's what we all want, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's why I like to tell people, it's full circle. We can use these tools like social media to get people to our blog. Once they get to our blog, we get them on our list. They turn into customers, and we complete the circle. That's right. What we're all looking for.
That's right. And that truly is as simple as that in a nutshell. So,
and the hard part always was trying to put that system in place. And I knew when I was starting out and I was on WordPress, and I'm like, okay, I got the blog now. It took me months to realize, wait a minute, I need an email list, and so trying to figure out all the steps. I mean, with the viral blogging system, it's all there built in, so it makes it super easy.
It is very, very, very easy. Well, okay, so we are just a little over an hour. These are the countdown of the hot tips getting more traffic. So, just reviewing them again. Number 10 was free classified ads. Number 9 was the traffic exchanges. And remember, there's that bonus down there below that you can access to get more information on that. Number 8 was groups or forums. Number 7, article marketing. Number 6, social media sites. Don't forget those profiles. Number 5, Instagram or other mobile sites. Number 4, email unsubscribers. Number 3, solo ads. Number 2, paid advertising on Facebook. And number 1, business blog. Really, 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 really important. And that is it. That is our presentation that we wanted to share with you, this evening. And hopefully you took away some really good tips. Let me bring us back to let's see here. Google Hangout. Stop screen share. There we go. And I'm in the dark a little bit. It's gotten really dark here. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you so much. If you were here live, thank you. And if this is a replay for you, again, hopefully you took away some really, really good information. Please feel free to share this with your team or your business colleagues or other people that might find this information helpful. Tamyka, what else did you want to share with the?
That was pretty much it. I think this was an awesome training. We shared so many tips, and I hope everybody was taking notes. And yeah, I mean, definitely these are some of the hottest tips out here, really, to get traffic back to your blog and to help you build your businesses online.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, Tamyka and I, we were really excited to put this little presentation together, so we're looking forward to doing some more. If you have any suggestions or something that you want us to focus in on, please let us know, because I'm telling you guys, we together, we're part of the Prosperity team, and we're gaining tons and tons and tons of knowledge, and it's just amazing, some of the things that we're learning that you're not going to find anywhere on the internet. You just won't. But fortunately, you've got Tamyka and I. So with that, I think that's it.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're going to say goodnight to everybody. And again, leave us your comments below and check out all those links as well. And we'll catch you another day, another time.
Yes.
We'll talk to you later, Tamyka.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.